days. And the Gemara, close the door. The Gemara is, the line starts with the word karu. If you see where my finger, can you see where I'm pointing? The line starts with karu.
Yeah, well, I see.
You see where my mouse is, right?
Yeah.
So the Gemara says like this. The Gemara is talking about the Gemara says that discusses a story about Rabbi Yehuda. Now Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai, the Gemara terms him Rosh Hamadabrim B'chol Makim. He was the one who always spoke at all occasions. He was the first one who spoke. The Rosh Hamadabrim B'chol Makim. Rashi earlier in the Gemara explains that meant that it was b'mitzvahs hamelech shetziva olav l'daber tchila b'chol makim. There was the commandment of the king, the government at that time, that Yehuda B'ilai should always speak in any event, any kinos or any shiurim. He should be the first one to have the mic. So he was called Rosh Hamadabrim B'chol Makim. The shaila is, how did he get that position? So the Gemara says, why does the Gemara refer to Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai as the Rosh Hamadabrim B'chol Makim, the first one who speaks in every place? The Gemara explains like this. To Yasi Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Shimon. These three Tanoim were sitting together. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon. Yasiv Yehuda ben Gerim Gabayu. Yehuda ben Gerim was sitting next to them. Now Yehuda ben Gerim, according to Rashi, what does it mean ben Gerim? Plural form. He was the son of a ger and a geiris. Both his parents were converts. According to Tosfos, actually, the proper girs over here is Reb Yehuda ben Gerim. He's supposed to have a Rebbe in front of his name because he was a chashuva person. But according to Rashi, the Gemara, the way we have it, his name is Yehuda ben Gerim. Now they had a discussion. Yehuda started and he spoke, and Yehuda was the one that was the Rosh Hamadabrim B'chol Makim. He was the one who started off first, so he's the one who started off their discussion. Yehuda and he said like this. How worthy, how beautiful are the actions of this nation, the Romans that we live in. When Tiknu Shvakim, they set up proper marketplaces. Tiknu Ksharim, they built bridges. Tiknu Merchatzas, they built bathhouses. That was what Rabbi Yehuda started off saying. Rabbi Yossi Shasak, Rabbi Yossi was quiet. Nana Rav Shimon Bar Yochai Rashbi, he responded to Rabbi Yehuda v'amar, and he said, Kol mashetiknu leitiknu al tzarech atzman. These things that you're saying they did it only for themselves. They had ulterior motives. They didn't mean didn't have the people in mind. Tiknu shvakim, they made marketplaces in Eretz Yisrael, Lahish ben Zaynes, to put Zionist prostitutes in. Merchatzes, bathhouses, La'adaban Atzman, to beautify themselves. Gesharim, they built bridges, Lital Mehen Meches, to take taxes, to put taxes on the people. Now, this was what happened. Rabbi Yehuda had started the conversation, said how beautiful these things were, the Romans did. Rabbi Yossi was quiet, and Shimon Bar Yochai didn't hold that these things were done with the proper motives. Halach Yehuda ben Gerim, this Yehuda ben Gerim who was sitting next to them in their conversation, he went to Sipur Devreim, he told over their words. V'nishmu l'malchus, and the government heard. Amru, they said, Yehuda, She'ila, the Yehuda, who he spoke nicely about us, Is'ala, he should have a Haliyah. he should be elevated, and he should be the Rosh HaMedabrim B'chol Makom. He should be the first one who speaks in every event. Yosi Shasak, Yosi was quiet. Yigel Tzipari, he should go into Galus, be exiled to the city of Tzipari. Others say that the proper Gerson is Gemara is supposed to be Yigel Mitzipari, he should leave be exiled from the city of Tzipari. Shimon Shigina, Shimon who spoke nasty about us, Yaharig, he should be killed. He should be killed. That's what the Romans said. Azalhu Ubrei, he and his son, Shimon and his son, Elazar, went Tashu Be Midrash, they went and hid out in the Beis Medrash. Now, before we go further into the story, I just want to point out, interesting, that Yehuda was praising the Romans. The Marsha points out that this is interesting because we find in a Gemara and Avodah Zarah that this discussion, this back and forth between Rabbi Yehuda and Shimon bar Yochai, actually is a back and forth discussion between the nations of the world, Ummah Sa'olam and HaKadosh Baruch Hu La'asalaveh. The Gemara in the beginning of Avodah Zarah says that La'asalaveh, Ummah Sa'olam are going to say, look what we did for Klal Yisrael. Look what we did for them. We did such unbelievable things for them. And Hashem is going to respond back to them. All these different things which you did, you just did it for yourselves. You didn't do it for Klal Yisrael, and you didn't have that in mind. Now, the Masha points out, comes out something interesting, that Rabbi Yehuda over here was taking the side, seemingly, of the Ummah Sa'olam, because his taina was that the Ummah Sa'olam are doing such wonderful things. In the Gemara and Avodah Zarah, this seems to be something negative, that the Ummah Sa'olam are taining this. And Rabbi Shimon's taina back, that this wasn't done with the proper motives, is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells back to Ummah Sa'olam. So the Mashal says, we can't say that Rabbi Yehuda over here was saying the same thing like the Goyim. It's obviously over here, Rabbi Yehuda, he was careful in his wording. Because the difference between what Rabbi Yehuda says over here and what the Ummah Sa'olam say in the Gemara and Avodah Zarah. The Ummah Sa'olam in the Gemara and Avodah Zarah says the Ummah Sa'olam la'asalav, they're going to say before Hashem, but Mashiach's going to come and say, we also deserve schar. Look what we did, everything we did for Klal Yisrael. Rabbi Yehuda over here did not say that. He did not say they did it for Klal Yisrael. He said there are beautiful things they did. He didn't say that it was for Klal Yisrael. Rabbi Yehuda did not say the same time that the Goyim tained Las Lavei, explains the Rasha. Rabbi Yehuda was actually being careful because he was nervous about the fact that people could be overhearing the conversation. So he had Yiras HaMalchus, what's called. He was concerned with what the consequences which could come out of this conversation. And therefore, he spoke nicely, but he didn't go to the point to go and talk like all the way, like the Ummah Sa'olam themselves are going to say, we did it all for Klal Yisrael. He just said these are nice things they did. That's it. He wanted to keep it a little bit more pyriv, and in order, because he was afraid of the government. Rabbi Yossi was also afraid, he was quiet. Shimon bar Yochai said it out clearly. Now, going back to the story, so Shimon bar Yochai and his son had to run away. His son didn't have to run away, but his son went with him. Tashu Be Midrasha, they went and hid out in a Beis Medrash. The line starts with the word Midrasha. Kol Yoima have a Maisa Lahud Vesu Rifta V'Kuza Demaya V'Karchi. Every day, his wife, Shimon bar Yochai's wife, would bring them bread and a jug of water. V'Karchi. I'm not sure what V'Karchi means. I don't recall. If someone knows, let me know. I don't have an art scroll. So she would bring them food in the Beis Medrash. Kitavkiv Gezerasa, when the Gzera against them got even stronger, and the search is getting even stronger for Rav Shimon, and there was quite a worry that they would find him. Amalei Lebrei said to his son, Noshim daiten kala alehen. Women, they are weak. Dilma mitzayri law, maybe they will torture my wife. Umegalalon, and she will say, and she will reveal where we are. Hazlu tashu b'ma'arta. They went and they hid in a cave. Israchish, so they left the Bismedish and they went and they hid in a cave. Israchish Nisa, a miracle occurred. Ibru lahu charuva, and a carob tree, a boxer tree, grew right near the cave. Ve'ena demaya, and a well, a spring of water. So they had what to eat and they had what to drink. Now I want to point out that Marsha explains that the fact that a carob tree grew was a nes b'toich nes, because a carob tree takes a very long time to grow. So it wasn't just that the carob tree, a tree grew here, but it was a carob tree, which is something which takes a very long time to grow. So this is a double nes, that there was a carob tree which was bearing fruit. To bear fruit takes a very long time. Now, they took off their clothing. They would sit up until their necks in sand. All the entire day, Garci, they would learn. That's what they did a whole day. They were in isolation, as we say today. They were in isolation. They were in the quarantine in a cave. Now, be'idon sluye, when they needed to daven, lavshi mixu, they would put back on their clothing. Or matz, they would daven. Bahadran, after davening, mishalchu inayu, they would take off their clothing. The reason why they did this and they didn't wear their clothing constantly, ki heiche deloy livlu, in order that their clothing should not wear out, because they were going to be they're in this cave for quite a while. And they didn't bring along a suitcase with them. So if they
Rabbi,
yeah.
But how come they couldn't pray while they were in the sand up to their necks?
Very good kasha. You're mechavim with this kasha to the Marsha. The Marsha on the back of the Gemara explains that l'chora, we know that when you daven, ein libei royas ever. The heart a person's heart cannot see one's erva, one's private parts. So in this case, there was no issue with that because they were covered. They were covered in sand. So the Masha explains that the reason why they got dressed was only as to be daven respectfully, not to prepare oneself to daven before Hashem in a bakavadik way. So therefore, they would put back on their clothing, but not mitzad the fact that they were not sneers or anything. That wasn't an issue. You're correct. Mm-hmm. Now, Esvu Teresar Shani b'Ma'arta. They stayed there for 12 years in the cave. Now, earlier the Gemara said that the entire day they were learned. Interesting, in Tanya, in the Chelek of Yigeres HaKodesh, the Alter Rebbe points out that most of the time they must have been learning Mishnayos, because Kabbalah, the Sifri Kabbalah that we have from Shimon Bar Yochai, that are from his teachings, all of those Svarim he could have finished very quickly. And it wouldn't have taken him, it wouldn't have been that they were learning that the entire time. On the other hand, Mishnayos, they had a lot more Masechtas than we have today. They had 600 Masechtas Mishnayos, and that there was a lot to learn, and they would do Chazara in it, and they were able to learn, and that's what they were sitting and doing for the 12 years most of the time. Now, after the 12 years, Asa Eliyahu came, Mekama Pischa de Ma'arta, and he arrived at the entrance to the cave. Amar, he announced that the entrance, Man Lidui Lebai Yechai, who will notify the son of Yechai, the Miss Caesar, that the Caesar, the Caesar, has died, Obatul Gzeirase, and his decrees are batul. the way it was nullified, the way it was the custom then in different countries when the king passed away, his gezeres were batal. He's not around anymore, so the things that he wanted to implement are not. They have new. There's a new king and there's a new agenda. So those the things of the old king are batal. We find by Pari also similar thing. And the Gemara tells us that Pari was Yamas Pari. Things changed.
I have a question, Rabbi.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Generally, it says that there's no Yisurim without Chet.
Yeah.
Now, what could have Rabbi Shimon and his son could have done? Could have brought them to 12 to 13 years being in a cave.
I don't know. It's a good question. And even though there is such a chazal, but Lamaisa is, it's hard to understand a lot of different things that we see in Elam Haza. There's a Mishnah which says in Pirkei Avos, Ein biyadenu mishalvas rishoyim, loy mishalvas rishoyim va'afla misuras hadikim. We don't understand why these days, we don't understand, says the Mishnah, why rishoyim are living in peace and tzaddikim are suffering. So there are certain things that during the Galus times that we don't see clearly why certain things are happening. Certain people or good people suffer, and certain Rashayim, things are going well for them. So there's not some necessarily things we could understand why these things happened, and maybe there were certain things on the level these tzaddikim that needed purification. I'm not sure to answer to your question.
Okay.
That's one of the difficult ones.
Yeah. Okay.
So up till today, we have this kasha and different things we see.
I thought maybe something was written. Something was written somewhere. That's all. I know he couldn't have done anything, but. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe somewhere that does say something. It could be there's something does say something. I don't know. So, anyways, Nafku, they went out after the 12 years after they heard this announcement from Eliyahu Navi. Chazal, they saw Inshi, they saw people, the Kokarbi, they were plowing, Mizari, and they were sowing the field. Amar, he said like this, Rabbi Shimon, they have forsaken everlasting life, sitting and learning Torah, and they're busy with Chayisha, temporary life. They should be learning Torah whole day, and Hashem will send the parnasa other ways. The Goyim will work on their fields, and things will be done by other people. We'll be taking care of them. Hashem will take care of Oisi Ritzaynei. That was a Mishima Yichai Shita. He held that a person should learn a whole day, and Hashem will provide it for him. So he was upset. This is what you came to Elam Haza for? This is what you're busy in Elam Haza with? Just jump the page. I'm sorry. So, Lamaisa, Kol Mokim, the lines of Azari, Kol Mokim Shenoise Nehen, Miyad Nisrif. Anywhere where they put their eyes, Reb Shimon and his son, right away was burnt up. They couldn't handle what they saw. Yatzah Baskoil, a voice came out from Shemayim v'Amalem and said to them, Lahachriv Oilami Yatzasem, have you left the cave in order to destroy my world? Chizul Lemaraschem, go back to your cave. Hadar, they went back, Ezel, Esvi Tresi Yarchishata. They sat for 12 months. Amri, they said, we'll stay here for 12 months because we know Mishpat Rashayim beGehenim Yubeis Chodesh. The judgment of Rashayim is in Gehenim for 12 months. So if it's for 12 months, this was probably the time that we can leave. We'll just be punished for 12 months. Yatsa Baskel, and Baskel Taka came out after 12 months for Amar and said, Su'u mimaraschem, you can go out from your cave. Nafku, when they went out, there was a different attitude by Reb Shimon. Reb Elazar still held the old attitude, but Reb Shimon was already on a new attitude after the 13th year. Kol heicha dehavamachi Reb Elazar, any place that Reb Elazar would destroy, with his eyes, he would give a look and put an ayin hara in it, and if things would go bad, have a master of Shimon, Reb Shimon would correct it. Reb Shimon would heal it. Amalei Reb Shimon told his son, B'ni, my son, Dai la'olam, it's enough for the world, aniva ata. It's enough for the world that me and you, we are on this madrega, that we learn Torah an entire day and night. It's enough that we're on this level. We don't need to demand this from everyone else. They're not on that madrega, not on that level. In this way, he calmed down his son, and therefore they had a new outlook now at the world. They weren't upset at the world. It's not, the world runs a certain way, and we have to run a certain way. We can't obligate the world to be on our level. V'hadi panya d'mayla Shabbata, it was on the Erev Shabbos. Chazal, they saw Hahu Sava, an elderly man, that Havanoket Trei Madani Asa. He was holding 2 bundles of Hadassim. V'rohit ben Hashmashis, he was running close to ben Hashmashis, close to Shabbos. Amar, they said to him, Hani Lamalach, what do you need those for? Amar Lahu l'kavet Shabbos. I'm taking this for Shabbos. V'tiskil v'chad, one's enough for Shabbos. Chad keneged zacher, chad keneged shomer. One is for zacher, one's shomer, like we know in the Aseres HaDibris. So the first Aseres HaDibris are mentioned in Parashas Yisrael. In Mishnah Torah and Chumash Devarim, the Torah repeats over everything, and it's short, all the mitzvahs. Moshe repeats it over the Klais, and when he repeats over the Aseres HaDibris, there are slight differences. And one of them is the fact in the first one it says Zachar Yom Shabbos L'Katche, the second one says Shomer Yom Shabbos L'Katche. The Gemara already says that Zachar and Shomer B'diba Echen Nemru, they were said from Hashem in the same breath, the same word. There was Zachar and there was Shomer. So this elderly person said, I'm taking 2 bundles, Keneged Zachar, Keneged Shomer. Amar Lei Lebrei, he said to his son, Chazi, Kama Chavi Mitzvah Yisrael, see how beloved Mitzvah Klal Yisrael. Yesterday, they were pacified. So even though they were originally, after 12 years, they were upset at the world, after 13 years, they realized that even though they're not learning Torah a whole day, obviously they have their Kviyus Itim and they have their Shiurim, but they're not able to learn a whole day. But you see how beloved Mitzvah Klal Yisrael, and they run to do a mitzvah, and they're Mahader, to have Zachar and Shomer, and they felt, Baruch Hashem, the Yidden are okay. By the way, that's also what the Shulchan Aruch says, the B'nai lighting Shabbos candles, that we're supposed to light 2, Keneged Zachar v'Shomer. Most people light also, add additional candles corresponding to their children, to the amount of children they have, but actually that minig is not mentioned in the Shulchan Aruch at all. The Shulchan Aruch itself mentions the minig of lighting 2 corresponding to Zachar and Shomer, and then mentions that according to Kabbalah, some people light 7 or 10, but the minig that we have today is not actually originate in the Shulchan Aruch. There are sources for it, but not sources directly in Shulchan Aruch.
Rabbi?
I actually heard people that even today they only light 2, even if they have a minute to light 2. Even though they have more than 2 children, they would always light 2.
Rabbi, do we know why Zachor preceded Shamor?
I'm not sure, but Zachar is a positive. It's a mitzvah. Shomer is to watch and keep the Shabbos. Is the klal in Chazal tell us the klal is kol mokim shenemer hishamar, and the Torah used the word shamar, a pen. It's a loisasa. So
Right.
maybe it comes first the Mrs. Essay, maybe the Lois Essay of Shabbos. Actually, that's how we know that women are chayiv in Shabbos like men, because women are chayiv in the Shomer of Shabbos. Women are chayiv in the Lois Essay because they're chayiv in all 365 Lois Essays in the Torah. However, we know Mrs. Essay, women are not chayiv Mrs. Essay Shazman Grama. Seemingly, a woman should not be chayiv in Kiddush. However, we say women are chayiv in Kiddush, just like the men, because since Zachar and Shomer are together, they were set together, we learn that whoever is chayiv in the Shomer is chayiv in the Zachar. Since the women are chayiv in the Shomer, we're chayiv to keep Shabbos, the sanctity of Shabbos, and make sure not to do any malacha. So to their chayiv in the Zachar aspect of Shabbos, the mitzvah essays of Kiddush and the Suda and other aspects, the positive aspects of Shabbos, even though they're time bound because of Shabbos, women are also chayiv because of chayiv in the Shomer. Anyway, so Lamaisa, Shama, we're holding about 10 lines from the bottom. Shama Reb Pinchas ben Yair Chasonei. Reb Pinchas ben Yair, the son-in-law of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, heard that they had come out of the cave. Now, by the way, many places it says, many places says it's in Sfarim brought down, you're not supposed to read it Chasonei, it's supposed to be with a Vav, Chosnei, meaning his father-in-law, because the Pinchas ben Yair was the father-in-law of Reb Shimon, according to most opinions. That's the way the Zohar brings down that Pinchas ben Yair was his father-in-law. So Pinchas ben Yair heard this, that they came out. V'nafik la'ape, he went out towards him. Aile lebeibani, he brought him into the bathhouse. He wasn't in good shape after being so long in the Meira for so many years. Haveka arich le the bisrei, he was fixing his body, his flesh, and he was, I guess, massaging it and taking care of it. It needed care, it was peeling, whatever was happening. Chazi dahava be pili begufa. He saw that there was holes in his body. Havakabachi, Pinchas ben Yair was crying to see Reb Shimon in such a state. The kanasri dimas eine, and tears of his eyes came down, and the tears went into these crevices of sores on Reb Shimon's body, and would have pained him, and he was screaming from the pain of that it was causing him. Amar lei, Pinchas ben Yair said to Reb Shimon, "Oy li, woe is to me, sheri sicha bekach, that I see you in such a state." Amar lei, he said back to him, Reb Shimon, "Ashrecha, fortunate are you, sheri sini bekach, that you saw me like this. Shel malei loyri sini bekach, eloi matzasi bekach. If not for the fact that you see me in such a state, you would not have found in me so much Torah." Meaning he was zoich to so much Torah from all this time that he was spent in the cave. So it came with a lot of Yisurim, but this is the only way he was able to get to this Madrega. Amar le, now the Gemara explains what was the level of Shimon before the cave. He went in, and what was the level after he experienced this experience for 13 years. The Gemara says, the Meikara, at the outset, he have a makshir of Shimon Yichai Kosher. Of Shimon Yichai would ask a question. Hamafarik Pinchas ben Yair, today Ser Peruki. Pinchas ben Yair would slug it up, would refute, would answer, respond to the question of Shimon Yichai with 13 possible answers. That's how sharp Pinchas ben Yair was. So if Shimon Yichai had a question, he didn't know how to how to answer the questions, and Pinchas ben Yair saw the light, but he saw 12 answers to it. L'saif, in the ending after he left, ki have a makshi the Pinchas ben Yair kushya, and the Pinchas ben Yair would ask a question, have a mepharik later Rashbi Esmer Abai Peruki. It was the opposite. When Pinchas ben Yair would ask a question, Rashim ben Yochai would answer him back. So the order reversed. It wasn't Rashim ben Yochai asking and Pinchas ben Yair answering. It was a Pinchas ben Yair had question. Rashim ben Yochai was able to answer his questions. But not only that the order reversed, but also the quantity was amplified, because the Pinchas ben Yair used to answer up to Reb Shimon Yochai's questions 12 answers. When a Pinchas ben Yair had a question after Shimon left the Meira, Rashbi would answer up with 24 responses to his questions. Before I go further, I see that Yoel pointed out in the chat that the word earlier that we were not, I was not clear on, what his wife was bringing him, bread and a jug of water, v'karchi. I didn't know what the word karchi means. It says that the word karchi means, and they ate. And they ate the food and mean to ate it. Now, going back to the bottom of the Gemara, 4 lines to the bottom, Omar, Reb Shimon said like this, Hayil v'srachas nishla, since a miracle occurred to me, Ezel v'iskim milsa. Let me go and do something to help people. Do something special. The Chsiv, he learned this out from Yaakov Avinu. It says, Vayog v'Yaakov shalom. When Yaakov came back from Lavan, he came to Shechem, Yaakov came back, shalom, complete. The Amar Rav explained, what does it mean complete? He was complete in all facets of being complete. Shalom b'gufay, he was complete in health, even though when he fought with the Malach, with Esa's Malach, the Malach touched him and the Gid HaNoshim moved from its place. How now he was not limping anymore and he was fully back to his health. Furthermore, Rav explains, he came back shalom amayne. He came back with money. He had a lot of money when he left Lavan's house. Shalom b'teirasa, he also did not forget his learning, even though he was with by Lavan and he was traveling all this time, coming back. He was shalom in all areas, complete in all these aspects. However, the Torah continues on saying, "Vayichan es pnei ha'ir." He wasn't after he arrived and he was complete. Vayichan es pnei ha'ir. Rashi explains the word Vayichan comes from the word the simpler meaning. It means Vayichan, he camped, but it seems to be redundant. We know he came there. What does it mean he camped? So Vayichan, Rashi explains, comes to the word Chain. Chain. Doing something gracious and nice. So Yaakov was gracious to the city when he arrived because he saw Hashem did with him Nisim and saved him from Lavan, and he came back in such a state. So he did something good. Rav explained, he set up a currency for the city. We're talking about for the people of Shechem. He set up a currency. Shmuel Amar Shvakin Tikalahem, the second line from the bottom, Shmuel says he made marketplaces for them. He set up the system of the marketplace. Yechanan Amar Marchatzis Tikalahem, Yechanan said he set up bathhouses for them. So these are things that were important. These are 2 of these items are things that we even mentioned earlier that Rabbi Yehuda was praising the Romans for. So these were considered things that were important for a city those days. They should have proper marketplaces set up and have bathhouses. This is something very important. So based on what the Anhag of Yaakov Avinu, so Rashim ben Yochai said about himself that since I was saved and I had a nest, I also want to do something for people. Amar, he said, Ika milsa the skuni, is there anything I can correct? Amalei said to him, yes. Ika duchti, there's a place to east bay Suffolk Tuma. There's an area in the middle of the city, in the marketplace, where there's a suffix of a caver there. We don't know where the caver is. We're going to go turn to the next Amid Lamed Dalid. V'isluhu tzara l'koyanim lakufi. And the koyanim, it bothers them that they cannot go in through this shuk in the city. They have to go all the way around. Even though everyone else is walking through the streets here, they have to walk all around the section because there's a suffix of tumah, a suffix of a mace, which is buried somewhere there. So that was a city issue then. Amar, he said, Ika inish diyadi is chazik hachatara. He asked, is there someone here who knows of an area that is for sure tahir in this place? In this whole area, maybe there's a certain spot where someone could tell me that is for sure tahara here, and there's no mace. Amar le'ahu sava, there was an elderly man there, and he said, Kan Kitas ben Zakkai, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai planted over here truma, and he cut turmusei truma, he cut truma beans from this spot. Now truma can't become tamei. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was a kohen, he was allowed to eat truma, but he wasn't allowed to make the truma tamei. That's a aser. But over here, he would plant truma and he would cut the truma. So Avid Ihu Nami Hachi. So Shimon bar Yochai also followed in the footsteps of. There's two ways how to understand this Gemara. According to Rashi, Avid Ihu Nami Hachi means that Reb Shimon bar Yochai also did this. What he did was he planted beans, and then he cut them. He cut the beans, and he threw them over there in the spot where there was not clear where the mace was, and a nest happened, and kol heicha dehava kashi tare, wherever was hard, the hard parts of the earth. He said those are the parts are tahir. Wherever the soft parts, saying that he made it tziyun, and that's where the mace is, in the soft parts. Now, according to Tosfos, Avid Ihu Nami Hachi is not referring to Shimon bar Yochai followed in the footsteps of Yochanan ben Zakkai, and he cut beans, he cut the bean plants, but it's referring to that Shimon bar Yochai followed in the footsteps of Yaakov Avinu to do something good for people. So it wasn't that he cut beans, he just said that wherever is firm is tahir, and wherever is soft is a kaver. Mashain Kain, like Rashi, he actually did something similar to Yochanan ben Zakkai, where he had cut bean plants and threw them in the area, and through such a miraculous method managed to show where the mace was. Now, Amar Husava, this elderly person was there, announced, Yochanan ben Yochai he purified a cemetery. He made a cemetery tahir. So Shimon bar Yochai was not happy with this. Amalei, he said to him, Imale lo yisi mano, vafilu yisi mano v'nimsi mano yafa atoimer. If you would not be here with us today, and you would tell people that, announce it, okay? Even if you're with us today, but you were watching, but you weren't part of the group, you weren't part of us that were actually making the tahir. Also, Yafat Omer, it's okay for you to go around telling people this. But Ashta now, Shayisimanu, you were with us. Venimnisimanu, and not only you were here, you were part of our group, you were part of making this place tahir. So if you're going around and talking about me and praising me like that, then Yoimru people will say, Zoyinis Mefarkis Ezuazu. Tamid Chachamim Leikol Shekain. They'll say, just like the Zoyinis, the prostitutes, they help each other, and they make the braids for each other's hair. So the Talmidei Chachamim, they each pump each other up, and they talk about each other, how gavaldik they are. And he didn't like this gaiva. He didn't like it. He put his eyes on him, but he was nifter. Nafik l'shtuka, Shemeichai went out into the marketplace. Chazia l'Yehudim and Gadim. He saw the man Yehudim and Gadim, who we spoke about earlier, who had listened to their conversation, and through him the conversation was reported back to the government, and that's how Reb Shimon and the whole episode started. And he saw this individual. Amr, he said, this person is still around in the world. He still exists. If he placed his eyes on him, he made him a pile of bones. Now, by the way, there's a difference between the two terminologies. The earlier terminology was it was nifter. The elderly person was nifter. But over here it says he became a pile of bones. So basically, it seems to be because this individual, Yehudim and Gadim, was responsible for Shimei Yechai having to run away. This is much more serious. So therefore, he had a much more serious outcome. But I just want to point out that Tosfos has a different understanding of this Gemara. Tosfos earlier, in the earlier Amud, he understands that Yehudim and Gadim was a chashuv person. And he even points out to Gemara Mayit Katan, where Reb Shimon bar Yochai actually told his son, Reb Elazar, he should go to Yehudim and Gadim and another Tana who were leaving him then. They were going away from Shimon bar Yochai on a trip. And Shimon and Chalafta, and he should go ask for them a bracha, because they're chashuv people. There's an interesting story in the Gemara over there where they actually told him certain things which seemed to be like klalas, curses. And they came back, they said to Elazar said to his father, why did you send me to them? They cursed me, gave me klalas. So Shimon said, tell me what they said. And then he explained how what they said is really, in a deeper meaning, is really brachas. By the way, the Tzemach Tzedek, I believe, the Alter Rebbe, brings this in the Koti Torah as an example that by the Toichacha, the Kalalas of the Toichacha, in a deeper level are really brachas, but it's a level of brachas that we're not able to perceive on our level, so we see it as Kalalas. So they bring this Gemara Mayit Katan as an example that Rabbi Elazar thought that what Yehudim and Gadim, Shimon Chalafta were telling him was klalas. They weren't giving him brachas. And Shimei Yechai explained the deeper meaning that they all were brachas, really. So a similar idea.
Rabbi,
yeah.
I saw a beer on it, maybe Zera Shimshon, not sure, but when they wanted to bless his son, they wanted to hide it from the Chitzonim. So they said what they said, and they knew that Rabbi Shimon, when he would hear that, just by saying these are berachot, they became brachos, because tzaddik, when he says something positive to you, he makes it real.
Okay, very nice.
Interesting idea. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah. But so Lamaisa Taisa says, we see from this Gemara Mayit Katan that Rabbi Yehuda Meganim was a chashuv person. If Rabbi Shimon Yechai is telling his son to go get a bracha by him, so because of this, Rabbeinu Tam in Tosfos, he says that the Gemara in the beginning, when it mentioned Yehuda ben Gerim, he's supposed to be termed Rebbe Yehuda ben Gerim. And the ending of the Gemara, when it says, it refers to him in a derogatory term that he was made into a gal shatzamas, a pile of bones. Rabbeinu Tam says we don't have that girsa. The Gemara's girsa, meaning the Gemara's version, should read Nach Nafshay, that he passed away, but not that he was a gal shatzamas. Meaning it's the same terminology what happened to the elder person who Reb Shimon Yechai wasn't happy what he said. But it wasn't a derogatory term that he was gal shatzames. That would make sense if Yehuda ben Gerim was a bad person. And Reb Shimon bar Yochai explains that Yehuda ben Gerim did not mean any harm. He had just told it over to someone else, and from someone else to someone else until it reached the government's ears. Even Rashbi, by the way, who doesn't get into all these details like Tosfos does, but when he describes that Yehudim and Gerim told over their words, he also clearly that it did not go clearly to the government. He said he told over the words of Reb Shimon, Reb Yehuda, Reb Yossi, the conversation. He repeated to their Talmidim, to other Talmidim that weren't there at the time of the discussion, or he told his father and his mother, but he didn't have any intentions that Chas v'Shalom, that the kingdom should hear about it. But it happened to be that it did happen, and Shimei Yochai was disappointed this happened through him, and therefore he put his eyes on him. Now, obviously, this whole Gemara is very fabulous, and it's a very miraculous Gemara, very interesting Gemara. And again, very fascinating that it's on Daf Lamed Gimmel in Gemara and Shabbos. I don't know if anyone points this out, that it's on the Daf Lamed Gimmel, Lag Baimer. And so this is a very interesting Gemara. So this is the main Gemara about Shimei Yochai and Lag Baimer. Now, I just want to talk a little bit, just to conclude a little bit, talk a little about Shimei Yochai. You see how he was on a very, very high madrega, where he demanded that everyone should live a lifestyle of just learning Torah an entire day. And the year that the final year that he was in the Meira changed his look, and he came out with a different perspective. So what's unique about it is we have a lot of times people that are on a very high level, but they can't relate to the world. That's like Shimei Yochai before he the 13th year. But after Shimei Yochai left the 13th year, he reached a tremendous madrega. He was not only on the same level that he was before, on a higher madrega, he was even able to relate now to the world and to deal with people and help people. He went out to try to do things to help the city and be involved in common day-to-day life. So even though he was on such a high madrega, and he still was, him and his son were both learning Torah a whole day, and he told his son, the world, it's enough, me and you, just us, it's enough that we're on this madrega. But still in all, it didn't mean that he separated from everyone else. He went out and sought to help people. And that was the big change that occurred to him when he left the cave. In many Maimarim of Chassidus Chabad bring out that this point in different words. They say, why was Rav Shimei Yochai so unique over all other Tanoim? There were so many Tanoim. Rabbi Akiva was the Rebbe of Shimei Yochai. You have Reb Meir. Reb Meir says he was so deep that the Chachamim cannot understand him. Le'amdu the Seif Daitei of Reb Meir, and they couldn't pass in halacha because he was so deep. They didn't understand what he was saying. So Reb Meir was never, the halacha was not like Reb Meir, because the Chacham always didn't understand him, and they couldn't pass in based on something they didn't understand. They couldn't just say, oh, Reb Meir, it seems like he's saying something deep, and we're going to follow your psak. They had to understand it, because a Rav who's passing a shayla has to understand his psak. So the psak was not like Reb Meir, because Reb Meir was in a high madrega, higher than them. So there were many great, unbelievable Tanoim. There was something very unique about Rav Shimei Yochai, and that's why hundreds of thousands of people go to his kaver, and everyone's davening by Rav Shimei Yochai's kaver. What's the uniqueness of Rav Shimei Yochai? So we know there are many Tanoim, big Talmidei Chachamim that taught Mishnayos and Mishnahs, and we do find also certain Tanoim that learned Kabbalah. We know like Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana. It's also attributed to him, the Ana B'choyach, Gedula Simincha. That tefillah is attributed to Nechunya ben Hakana. But he wrote a sefer called Sefer Hakana, Kabbalah. If you look around in Chazal, there's very few Chazals where he's mentioned as mentioning different Mishnayos. There isn't a few dinim, but not many. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai was unique. he was unique in that he had both worlds. He was fully immersed in Kabbalah, in Nistar, and he was fully involved in Nigla, in the body of the Torah. All the things that the Gemara discusses, all the discussions of what person will tie in a bezin, what lies someone can think of, make up of, getting involved in the nitty gritty of Dini Torah. On the other hand, he was seemingly involved with such low things. On the other hand, he was in such a high madrega, involved in the deepest secrets of the Torah. So he was crossing both sides of the spectrum. Even though he was in such a high madrega, he still was able to be involved and be mechaber, be ma'ached the other parts of Torah altogether. And all different types of people. We know that the Arizal, it's mentioned that on the day of Lag BaOmer, came a Talmud of the Arizal. His name was Rabbi Avram. He came to the caver in Meron, and he was davening there. And this Talmud of the Arizal, he always mourned for the Chorban Beis HaMikdash. He would say Nachem, which we say on Tisha B'Av and Shemona Esrei, he would say Nachem every day in Birchas HaMazon, because he was always mourning the Chorban Beis HaMikdash. That's what level he was at. He would say this. He was saying this Lag BaOmer at the caver of Rav Shimon bar Yochai. It says that Rav Shimon bar Yochai told Arizal that he's very makbid on this Talmud. Why he's saying Nachem? Because he's saying it's my simcha, the day of Lag BaOmer, and since he's saying on my day of Lag BaOmer, my simcha, I don't want him saying the Nachem about the Chorban. Now, what's the explanation? Why was Rav Shimon bar Yochai so makbid? He's a Yid who's thinking about the Chorban Beis HaMikdash constantly. This is a very special thing. L'maisa, we know it's brought down in the Hillel Parcher was one of the big Hasidim of the Tzemach Tzedek and the Mittler Rebbe, and he was known as a big tzaddik. And in his Svarim, he has his own Svarim on Chasidus, and he explains that Rav Shimon bar Yochai was from those neshamas that there never was a Chorban Beis HaMikdash, meaning the Chorban didn't affect him. He always saw the light, and he was able to see through the Chorban. So there wasn't a Chorban for him. It was Kilo, the Beis HaMikdash was Nechra for him. Obviously, Bekashmius, it was Benechra, but Baruchnius, the Oyer and the Kedusha, never left him, and there was no change. So what's interesting over here is that Rav Shimon bar Yochai, what bothered him was that my caver, my place on Lag BaOmer, is a place where the Chorban is not felt. Because by Rav Shimon bar Yochai, there was no Chorban, there was only Simcha. So Rav Shimon bar Yochai was makbid on this Talmud of the Arizal, that he's mourning the Chorban in his presence on Lag BaOmer. Which shows on two things. Number one, it shows you the Madrega of Shimon bar Yochai, that the Chorban is not Toifas Mokim by him. On the other hand, you see that he's concerned that this person should also recognize that. He also should recognize that, and he should not. If Shimon bar Yochai didn't say, okay, I'm in my world where there's no Chorban, but he feels there's a Chorban. So if he feels there's a Chorban in his world. Shimon bar Yochai said, if you're coming next to me, you're becoming connected to me, I want to be mashpia on you. You have to realize that you don't say Nachem in my presence. Over here in my presence, you're going to feel the feeling that there's no Chorban. So he wanted to uplift him, uplift the people around him, that they should also feel something of his madrega. Just want to say another Messiah with one more story about the godless of Rav Shimon bar Yochai. The Yerushalmi brings an interesting story, the Gemara Yerushalmi. It's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. So Rabbi Kiva was giving smicha to his Talmidim, Reb Meir and Reb Shimon. Shimon Bar Yochai, he was giving him smicha. So he said, Yeshiv and Meir Tchila, a Meir should sit down first. He gave him the cover to sit down first. The Skar pain of Shimon. Shimon felt bad that Rabbi Kiva holds him higher madrega than him. So Rabbi Kiva told to Rabbi Shimon, you should know that Yechot should be enough for you, Shani ubeiracha mekilim gechacha, that I and your Creator know your strength. We know who you really are, and that should suffice for you. What your madrega. It comes out that in essence of Rashbi's koyach was even more than Abmeir, and Abmeir didn't even recognize it. It wasn't recognizable that Shimon Bar Yochai should be the one being first. It was something that it was on a deep madrega, that it was on that level that they weren't even able to see it. It was something that only Rabbi Kiva and your Creator, Hashem, recognized the madrega. And we know the madrega of Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva was on a very madrega. It was from the Asara Haruge Malchus. And over here, Rabbi Kiva is saying that Dayacha Shani Beiracha Mekilim Kechacha, we know what madrega you're on. So anyway, it's a very special day like Boimer. So although we are not able to be besimcha begili like it is in every year, but we definitely have to realize the specialty of the day, and definitely everyone should do something special today, special things to feel it and to recognize the special day, whatever one's allowed to do, and to realize if someone is able to write a pan or pidyon and send it to the oil, and it was beautiful to see those who saw the lighting in Meron, even though they weren't able to have everyone there, but still they had the lighting with people there. It's something that all of Klal Yisrael recognized as the Ad Hayom Hazeh, all these years, so many years later. It's amazing how the Klal Yisrael stands strong and holds on to the koyach of Shimon Bar Yochai. Messiah, one thing I one time saw the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, it says the Chida was a Talmud of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh. The Chida writes about the Or HaChaim HaKadosh that if he would go to visit Meron, Reb Chaim ben Attar, he would come to the bottom of the mountain, he would lose himself so much when he would feel the Kedusha of the Mokim, he would start crawling up the mountain on all fours, like an animal, because he felt so self-effaced when he was coming close to Rashbi. Shimon Bar Yochai and also Rabbi Lazar is buried there. And he felt so batal that he felt like the pasuk says, "V'ani bar v'loy eda behema seyisimach." David HaMelech says to Hashem that I'm like a behema in front of you. It felt like he was nothing. He was not a human being, b'chlal, compared to Hashem. The same when the Chaim HaKadosh arrived at the foot of the mountain, he was able to recognize that Kedusha. It wasn't like a special avodah he did. This is a natural thing where he lost himself. He's here by the Shimon Bar Yochai's kever. In days Hamol and the Sichas, the Rebbe said those people who are in Eretz Yisrael should go visit, and those who are here and can't should go to the oil. I don't know if today everyone is able to go to the oil, but Lamaisa is definitely a very, very special day to mamsha all amshachis and brachis for anyone who needs for refuah, and Peretz should have a refuah shleima, and everyone else who needs a refuah shleima, and should be gesund. It should be parnasa for everyone. And the ikr is that we should see the Mashiach. That's the ikr. Then we'll be reunited with Reb Shimon Bar Yochai.
Reb Shimon is the only one we say Shabbat for. Only person that we sing Shvachim for is Reb Shimon.
Yes. And Shimon Bar Yochai is very, very unique in the fact that we see that the Tanoim would praise him very much. The Tanoim used to give him names. They would call him Shabbos. They would give him different names. There's actually a Gemara Yishalmi, very fascinating. It says, Man pnei Odin Havaya da Rashbi. How does Hashem look? It's the face of Rashbi. That's a Gemara Yishalmi, that the face of Rashbi somehow represents the face of Hashem. So there are a lot of unbelievable things that it said about Shimon Bar Yochai. But the uniqueness wasn't only that he was so far up there. The Maila was that he was so far up there and so down here. After he left the Maira, he came to that Madrega where he reached that Madrega that he was all the way down here. He was down here with us, and that's where you see that even all Amcha, Klal Yisrael, regular people, simple people, everyone of all ages, is sameach in the Simcha Rashbi, and they all are connected to Shimon Bar Yochai. It actually says in the Zohar that the Rashbi was told that with your sefer, Klal Yisrael will go out from Galus, meaning the schus of learning the Zohar and the teachings of Kabbalah that is spread around, that will be the schus that will go out from Galus. And that, according to Chassidus Chabad, that is through learning things that you don't have to specifically open up a Zohar and learn it. We're not going to necessarily understand what it says there. But learning other Sfarim which explain concepts from the Zohar, ideas of Kabbalah, everyone to their own level, is definitely shaykhis to learning certain things and becoming connected to the Torah of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. So, it said, the Gemara says, Kedai Reb Shimon Bar Yochai lismich olav b'shas etchak. That Reb Shimon Bar Yochai's opinion is worthy and right to follow his opinion if you have a shas etchak. If you have an extenuous situation, you can follow the opinion of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. The Rebbe explained in a deeper meaning, shas etchak means in galus. When we're all in a big shas etchak, it's kedai that we follow the opinion of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. We should all be zoiche to the Hizgalus of Mashiach b'meira v'yameinu mamish. I want to wish everyone a good Avint and a freilich halak ba'omer.
Amen.
Yeah, kol tov yeshakayach.
Yeshikayach. Very nice.
Kol tov, Rabbi say.
Kol tov.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeshakayach.
Yeshikayach.
Yeshakayach, thank you.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
I'm a bracha.
Okay.